Hello everybody, do you want to know why everybody's in love with Mesilla, New Mexico? Right outside of Las Cruces, New Mexico, right next to us, within earshot, we have restaurants, bars, wineries, breweries, shops, anything you could want and need. 5 minutes away from Las Cruces, New Mexico for everything else. Let's see what this video has to offer. Welcome to Las Cruces. So here we are, folks, in the town of Mesilla. Oh my gosh, you have to visit this. If you're not going to move to Las Cruces, New Mexico, for sure, visit the town of Mesilla. If you're moving to Las Cruces and thinking about it, we have to show you this. Remember, when you come to town, we're specialists in bringing people to the city of Las Cruces, and we know most parts, if not all, of where you need to live, depending on your lifestyle. This is the Double Eagle restaurant. We are in the town of Mesilla, the square. It's a wonderful setting, very tourist-like. It's early June, and look at it. We just saw like at least 20, 30 cars leave. It was just packed when we got here. Something must have been going on. You have nothing but shops, restaurants, wineries, bars, everything that you could ask for within stone throws reach. We have hiking trails, we have ATV trails, we have the Mesilla Valley Bosque National Park not far from here. It just is an amazing mix of things to do. The Chocolate Lady, that's a very famous little shop that people love to enjoy here. Billy the Kid, do you want to step ground? Everybody's loving it. I love it. I'm a history fanatic. Not that I know a lot about it, but I just get lost in knowing that, just to think that there's people 100 years ago that walked the same earth that you're walking. It's just amazing. What do you want to know about Billy the Kid? We're gonna go down some of these old streets and see if he maybe possibly Airbnb'd or rented a house here back in the days. Did Billy the Kid do that? Historic sites like this, right? Down this way, we run into La Posta, famous old original post office site. They've become very well involved in the community. From what I understand, possibly one of the galleys in a Navy, either submarine or warship, is named after that, La Posta. The Fountain Theater, get yourself some live theater action down that way. This is the back part of that restaurant that we just walked past. Bay, famous artist that used a nice metal. I forgot what metal he's using, sterling silver and whatnot, to make some beautiful art pieces. During the summers, you're going to find regular art shows, arts and craft shows, live music many times. There's going to be sales, people selling and providing their crafts, whether it's paint or handmade craft work. Restaurants galore. You live in Mesilla, you're a couple of minutes away from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Very few minutes away from El Paso, Texas. If you want to go to the outlet shops of right outside of El Paso, they're about 35 minutes away, and you're back home into your quiet, quaint little town of Mesilla, New Mexico. What do you think, folks? Look at this. So back in 1848, it was purchased through the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, from what I understand, and a lot of the residents, you can imagine, that's when it became America, part of America and U.S. territory. A lot of the residents were not too happy about that, so they kept a lot of their traditions, right? Their town square, that's very indicative of a town square of a Mexican town. That was very much of a focal point to them, of where they would gather, have events, and so they kept that. Their structures, their buildings, they maintained a lot of them. From what I understand, this may be one of the oldest, if not the oldest, brick structure in New Mexico, okay? And I think that's official, it's already been recorded. Correct me if I'm wrong. This may be the oldest bar in New Mexico. MSNBC, I can't remember who, you'd have to correct me, tell me if I'm wrong. Some people said it doesn't have to happen to be the oldest bar, it just happens to be the oldest bar in the oldest building in New Mexico, but it's touted as the oldest bar. So we will find out, right? Alrighty, so as mentioned, what are we, 30, 35 minutes away from El Paso. So let's say if you want to live here, the historic town of Mesilla, I'm talking about how amazing it is. It is very restrictive if you want to change, let's say you buy a historic house here in the exact area. What did I mention? Its last census, it took a count of 2,000 people. So keep that in mind. So you come to me, Alfonso, I want to build. Just outside of here, I can find you, for example, third-acre lots for $150,000, right? I'm sorry, I can find you third-acre lots for $90,000. I can also find you half-acre lots just 8 minutes, maybe 6 minutes away from you from here at $90,000. And on there, you know, we could start building your house, a $500,000 house not far from here. We also have 1-acre lots not far from here at $150,000. If you're looking for houses in the area, they will range from $500 to $1.5 million. Okay. Just amazing work that we can get done here in the valley. Just so you know, folks, there's a lot of, what did I mention, 400, 500 to $1.6 million houses. We recently did a tour on a $1.59 million, $1.6 million house. Please like and subscribe. Check that house out. It's amazing. 10,000 square feet, tennis court, solar panels, 2.5 acres, about 10-12 minute drive from here, outside of the historic part of Mesilla. And as I mentioned, because if you want to buy a house in the historic part of Mesilla, it's going to be very restrictive because it is very, very well controlled. These buildings, I spoke to one of the people in charge and tasked with the zoning and permitting, and this gentleman, he was so dedicated to it. He took it over from a gentleman that remembers that they would walk the sites on the maps. If you come down here to their permitting department, they'll have maps of ruins of sites and of how wood was laid, and that wood was supposed to be left laid that way. They took such a task mapping these areas out, these historic areas. It makes me wonder, did Billy the Kid Airbnb one of these houses or rent when he was coming through these areas? Because he did come through here and supposedly was jailed here in these areas at some point. It's just amazing. We can do a lot for you here in this area, a lot to offer. So as mentioned, we have a lot to offer, okay? Some of my favorite picks, I'd love to point them out to you and run them by the screen for you here just in this area. I mentioned a $1.6 million home, 10,000 square feet, not far from you. Another home that I'd love to mention, one of my other favorite picks, is a $745,000 home, 3,000 square feet home on 1 acre. That's just an amazing home there on Mesilla Acres Road. There's another home that I love at 3,600 square feet for $597,000 on a 3rd acre. That'll let you RV parking. I will not find you RV parking here in the Mesilla Plaza. That's for sure, or right inside the town of Mesilla. Your local area schools are going to be your Tomba Elementary, your Zia Middle School. You're going to be a Bulldog fan because that's going to be your high school, is Las Cruces High. Yeah, one interesting fact, so there's only 2 basilicas here in the state of New Mexico. This is one of them. Also, another fact that I found out, since the Treaty of Hidalgo after 1948, from what I understand, about 5 years later, a couple years later, many years later, what made this very popular was a trade route between San Antonio and San Francisco, and then Santa Fe and Chihuahua. So this was a major trading hub, and that's why it became popular. Now, years in, the residents and the council was hit up to make this a railroad stop, to take on the railroad. They said no. Las Cruces, just right outside of us, said yes, and that's what made Las Cruces blow up so big. And the residents of Mesilla wanted to maintain their pristine historic look, or their current look at the time, and now it's historic, and now we get to enjoy it in its place, to the point that historians have taken it over and really kept it in place. You have your Gadsden, you have a lot of museums in the area, a lot of shops, a lot of things to do. Just amazing. So yes, just like I mentioned, this is me standing in front of you, showing you houses like this, $597,000, a 3rd acre, 3,600 square feet. A lot of these subdivisions may have covenants that don't allow you to park their RV park stuff, your RV equipment. This neighborhood does allow. They even are building a lot of sheds and stuff like that, and RV garages for them. So as I mentioned, not far from Mesilla, what are we, 6-7 minutes away, near Tomba Elementary. Here you are in a beautiful setting. It's going to allow you RV parking, $500,000, $600,000 homes, or just a few blocks from here, $400,000 houses. Maybe you lose that 3rd acre, but here we are. So if you want to know about where this neighborhood is and where this park is, free access to you, and want to move to this area, give me a call today. Alfonso Garcia, The Palms Realty.